Hey, can everyone hear me? Okay, I'm gonna give a couple minutes for people to hop on. Hey, welcome. I'm gonna give a couple minutes for people to hop on. We're right at 6:30 Eastern time. If you could just give me confirmation in the comment box that my audio and video is good. Thanks, Mom. My mom says I look pretty. More importantly, can you hear me? Hi, Jenna. Thank you for joining. Okay, it looks like we have some people joining us. So I'm going to get started and give you all a little introduction about me. My name is Betsy Appleton. I am a UT alum, most importantly, and I graduated in 2011. And while I was at UT, I was involved in Alpha Omicron Pi sorority, Orange Pride, Gamma Chi recruitment counselor, UT Duckettes, and I majored in political science. After UT, I moved to Nashville, and I went to Belmont University College of Law and got a law degree. I was in the inaugural class at Belmont, and I have been practicing law for 6 years. I currently work, not practicing, I'm currently a procurement consultant in the healthcare space. So that's really exciting, but I'm not here to talk to y'all about legal stuff today. After law school, I wanted to kind of get in touch with my creative side, so I started a blog focusing on Goodwill, specifically Goodwill fashion, because I have thrifted my entire life, and it was something I felt passionate about. And something I wanted to share with other people and teach other people how to do, because I saw the joy it brought to my life. I saw the joy that I would take friends to go for their first time, and really the joy and kind of the passion that people develop, and it becomes an addictive behavior. And once a Goodwill shopper, always a Goodwill shopper in my book. So that's kind of, thank you guys for all of that. Also, feel free to drop any questions throughout. I'm monitoring the comments, and Emily from the UT Alumni Association is also monitoring comments or questions as well. And I'll have to thank Emily and Jordan with UT Alumni Association for asking me to go live and kind of share Goodwill fashion with y'all. So hi Andy, before I get started, I just wanted to share with you all, we may have some seasoned Goodwill shoppers, or we have some new Goodwill shoppers, or you've never been to Goodwill because it's overwhelming to you. So I wanted to share a couple of tips, and I think these are helpful no matter where you are in your Goodwill shopping experience. And of course, these translate to various thrift stores or secondhand stores. One of my, probably the hardest, but one of my favorite tips is to being persistent and going regularly. Because it's not a traditional retail store and the inventory is not set on a schedule. Inventory is turning over every day, and that's a great thing because you could go today and find something completely different than tomorrow. So you really have to visit regularly and be persistent, because there have been so many times that I have left disappointed because I didn't really find what I was looking for. But it's very cyclical, and it always comes back around. Which is probably the hardest part, because it's when you go and leave empty-handed, you really don't want to try to come back again. The second thing, because the inventory is very vast and it can be overwhelming, especially when you're first starting out, I like to keep a wish list note in my phone of items that I'm looking for, especially seasonally. And that's what's great about when we talk about these trends. These are trends specifically that I found at Goodwill. All of the items I am showing you today, with the exception of one, is from Goodwill or a thrift store. So that's a great way to kind of keep your mind focused so you don't get distracted by, something completely off base, especially when you're starting out and really trying to hone your skill, because thrifting is a craft, and that's kind of helped me narrow down and become more efficient in my shopping, if there is such a thing. Think outside the box. Okay, one of the great things about Goodwill is that people will donate amazing things that may have minor flaws. You know, that could be a button's missing, the zipper's broken, there's a stain on the sleeve. And most of the time people just don't want to take the extra effort to get it fixed, which is great for us thrifters because that's usually a great piece that can be repurposed to something else. You may take the buttons off of something else and use them completely different way. I'm not a sewer, so I'm very limited in my repurposing. If you can sew, that opens up a whole new arena of what you can do to garments at Goodwill. But even something as simple as cutting something off shorter, like having a raw hem, cropping a sweatshirt, cropping a men's shirt, the possibilities are endless. So it's kind of like when you watch these remodeling shows on TV and you can never understand how these people can see the potential in a house. That's how I feel when I go in Goodwill, because I can really see the potential of a piece and I don't really just see for its face value, because usually, you know, the stores don't have the best lighting, and kind of sometimes the items are crammed together, so you're not getting the traditional retail experience of seeing something very neatly pressed on a mannequin. So it does take a little bit extra effort to kind of see the potential of what something could become. And the last tip, actually 2 more tips. Visit Goodwills or thrift shops in different areas. I'm pretty guilty of this because there's one located pretty close to where I live. And so I tend to frequent that one more often. But I have found, at least in my area, because I live in Nashville, the Goodwills are reflective of the people that live in that area. So they are the people that are donating that stuff. So where I'm located, there's colleges around. There's a lot of young professionals around. So that's reflected in the Goodwill, in the things that are donated. So depending on what you're looking for, you may go to different Goodwills because the people that are donating have different stuff. So makes sense, but that's just how the Goodwills here are structured. And this is probably one of the hardest things for me, and it really tripped me up when I was kind of getting started thrifting on my own, was don't buy it just because it's cheap. And that is so hard to do because you see something that you think is like really cool or has great potential, but it needs a little extra help, or this is the hardest one for me, something that's nostalgic, and I just can't resist buying it because it's $3 or $4. Well, that stuff accumulates in your closet very, very quickly. And it sat there and collected dust, and I realized, I'm buying a lot of stuff that I don't need and I don't wear because it's cheap. So I really try to rein that in, but it's hard to do when you're thrift shopping and it triggers a memory. That's the hardest one for me. So I have a ton of more tips, but those are probably 5 very popular ones and probably some of the harder ones. So with that, I'm going to... Oh, my mom said with cats. That is very true. I have 2 cats. I love my cats dearly. So anytime I see something with cats on it, I buy it, which has led to me having a lot of cat stuff. And I feel like there's a certain age that you have to quit wearing cat stuff, but I'm not there yet. I'm not going to give it up. So I'm going to get started with fall trends. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm monitoring it pretty well. So one of the trends that I love for fall is like super Victorian and feminine. This is from a vintage store. And when I'm saying Victorian, I'm thinking lace and pleats and high necks and ruffles, kind of like this oversized ruffle here. So you can see like the detailing on this. You've got like the lace, the high neck, the tie, the pleats. So this may be a little bit out of the box for some people, but that's why I wore this shirt, because this has got Victorian accents or inspired without being a little bit more over the top. So you have like an exaggerated collar here, a ruffle collar here with voluminous sleeves with a little ruffle here. So that's one of my favorite trends for fall. The second one, I'm going to kind of cover two on this, is a monochromatic look. And so we've seen some monochromatic looks in past seasons, but they were more in the neutral family. So we had like a monochromatic nude look or a monochromatic black or white look. But this season, it's all about colored monochromatic looks. So I'll pull, and this might be a little bit harder to swallow for some people. So don't be overwhelmed by the trend. You just incorporate it as you feel comfortable to. And that's one of the things I love about Goodwill, is that you can really try some of these more out-of-the-box trends without really investing in them, because it's at a lower price point. And it's an easy way to try a trend, too, to see if you want to invest in something more substantial. So you may say, okay, I love this color-on-color trend. I'm wearing it a lot more than I thought. I am ready to invest in, you know, a full-price item. So this is kind of like a monochromatic blue look. This is a cashmere sweater from Goodwill, and then this is like a faux suede sweater, but like this is very it for fall, which may be overwhelming to some. But this is kind of on two trends. Another huge trend is colored leather and colored suede. So like purples, blues, reds. This is a set, but I don't know where the bottom is. It had a purple like suede leather skirt that matched it. Faux or real, however your ethics lie, to that. So that's something really fun. Another big trend is different color combinations, particularly color combinations that you wouldn't put together. And this is one of my favorites. It's lilac and hunter green. So I'm just going to pull that up. Like, I love that color combo. I think that is so awesome. You're going to see probably a lot of lilac in the fall, which I love this color. I think that it is a great year-round color. It just does not get the credit it deserves. So here, I just pulled a couple of like lilac pieces out of my closet, but I wanted to show y'all like this color combo with like the lilac and the green, and then to do a hunter green pant with that, it would be super cute. Here's another lilac skirt that I pulled that I have from Goodwill. It's like a midi skirt, and it has this ruffle with the bead detailing on it. I've actually never worn this because it has a spot on it, and I wanted to crop it. So, but this skirt with like a hunter green top, a hunter green turtleneck, would be really awesome for fall. Next, I have the trend of mod patterns. Mod is a little bit harder for me to buy into, I think, because it's not necessarily my style, but I'm really loving some of the things I've seen. This shape, there's two things about this that I really like. This shape of this top, it's a little bit cropped. It's very like twiggy to me. Cropped, has a little bit of a puff detail on the sleeve, just a little bit, and then the high neck and the argyle pattern down the front. You can see like the detailing. To me, argyle is also something that is going to be huge, but I like it in a print like this that is a little bit different than the kind of argyle, very preppy sweaters that we're probably more used to seeing. So, and also, one of the details I love about this is a vintage top from Goodwill, are the buttons down the back. They just don't make this kind of detailed garment anymore, which is another reason why I love Goodwill. So, that's cute. This next top I'm going to show you is not from Goodwill, but I pulled it to show you a mod pattern. This is actually a Zara top, but I love these mod patterns that I'm seeing. So, next, and this is not going to be a shocker to anyone, I don't think, is metallics. So, for me, metallics will always be in style. They're like wearing black. I know that they go in style for everyone else, but they'll always be a personal fave. I pulled two metallic tops that I have This is a vintage, like high neck metallic top. You can see the detail on there. And then it also has the buttons down the back. I'm just obsessed with that, like kind of vintage, how they did the buttons down the back, because it gives you a really cool way to wear the same shirt twice. Like I could turn this shirt around and wear it open front or buttoned up. It just gives you more options. So I could wear this with high-waisted black pants, and it really updates this top that you might overlook and think is a little, you know, grandma chic, but you know, that's kind of the vibe we're going with over here. And this is another one of my favorite tops. I found it at Goodwill. Actually, I think my mom found it at Goodwill like several years ago. But it's an Escada vintage gold Lemay top. I just love this top so much. It'll be in my closet forever. Like I will never get rid of this top. So that's that. And then two things for accessories that I wanted to show you guys for trends. So here, my tip for new Goodwill shoppers is forget the clothes. Just focus on the accessories because it's a lot easier and less overwhelming. And you can usually find something. So two accessory finds for fall for Goodwill are mini bags. So I've got a couple here to show you guys. But these little mini bags like this, almost, like I don't know if y'all saw Lizzo at the Grammys where her bag was like this big. Not quite that small, but it like could fit an iPhone, but not much else. So this is a vintage bag from Goodwill. And then also this kind of style bag. It's awesome. Also from Goodwill. Another style that I don't currently have, but I've seen so much is like the little Houchettes. I think I'm saying that right. Like the old school kind of little like Dior shaped bags. And then this. I have this little mini vintage bag as well. So those are all good places to start if you're new, is stick to like purses. Purses and jewelry. Especially wearing some, I think these are from Goodwill too, these earrings. So great place to start if you're overwhelmed. Another thing I was going to talk about is shoes. I recently picked up these vintage shoes from Goodwill, and there are two types of shoes that are very trendy right now that are always at Goodwill. So one is like the toe shape. So like pointy has been very in for a while, but we're starting to see more of this rounded like almond shape and the square toe. I am not yet on board with the square toe, like the very exaggerated square toe, but they have a ton of them at Goodwill, and they're in all of the fashion magazines. So they're definitely in style. I just haven't bought in yet. So that's all the trends that I have to cover with y'all today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll give a couple minutes for questions to come through. And always, you can follow me on Instagram at GoldWillDigger, GoldWillDigger. Actually, I'll put it here in the chat. And my website is goldwilldigger.com. So you can always reach me there if you don't have time to get your question in. And thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun. And thank you, UT Alumni Association, for having me. And go Vols!